Welcome me back. It's been a while. I've definitely neglected this second channel and I'm sorry. Once I wrapped up the crew cab build for our wedding last May, kind of drifted off a little bit. I've done some traveling. Went to Ireland for a little while. Spent a couple weeks there for our honeymoon. That was nice. Came back full throttle. Started tackling some other builds, mainly on the V-Belt Sun channel. We've actually done quite a few. Actually did a fairly hardcore resurrection of my first truck that I actually just recently bought back last year. And recently, as in 2 days ago, we got back from France. We spent several weeks out there helping out on a TV show that my buddy scored. You have to wait and see more details on that. But we are here to actually start something that we should have done a while back, as in several years ago. The dream car build, the Dodge Charger. Second generation Dodge Chargers across the board, I think, could be considered everybody's dream car if they're being honest with themselves. So I have a 1970 Dodge Charger. Factory 318 car. Was originally burnt orange with a white vinyl top. It is now going to be black on black on black. As a 440, I retrofitted with Holley Sniper on it earlier this year to get it back up running and driving again. It has new quarters on it. It's got a new trunk pan. Floor pan is actually still good. But we got a little body work that needs to be done on it, and we need to start sanding. And it's not in here. We're going to go up to what I call the vault, my hidden archive, and just the gems are stored in this vault. Let's first fire up the crew cab because we haven't seen this truck in a while. My 1966 D200, now W200, four-wheel drive swap chassis, and it's got a Cummins in it. So, let's see how it starts. I'm gonna say 30 degrees inside the shop right now. I don't think anything else has really changed on the old grill since I left. Parked this bad boy in here and my 96 while I was gone. Oh yeah, oil looks top. I do need to work on the fuel system for this truck. It does have a slight air leak on the fuel side. So, let's get it so I can get in the door. Let that truck warm up just a little bit. If you didn't follow that build from the beginning, I had started the Charger build before that one. I stopped working on the Charger to work on that, and I was going to go back and forth when parts were available. Never really went back to the Charger, except for that Holley Sniper swap. So it took me just over 2 years to knock that out. That wasn't full-time working on it, but I got, I wouldn't say 2,000 hours into it, but 1,500 easily. And it still needs more. So once this thing warms up, I'm going to drive it up there, unload the vault and get the Charger out. Hopefully the Challenger starts in front of it. It is not necessarily easy just to pick a project nowadays. I've been, I would say, blessed with some opportunities to pick up some of these trucks. Like there's 2 second gens right over there. One needs a full workover and the other one just needs some mechanical stuff. But at the end of the day, I've neglected some of the projects that I really want to do for myself. And mainly this Charger's it. It's not a very practical vehicle. It doesn't fit the family. It doesn't get good fuel mileage. It's not good for taking to the grocery store because it's such a freaking expensive rig. And if you're worried about somebody hitting it, same thing with this truck. But at the end of the day, it would be nice to do some of the projects that I want to do. So let's go open up the vault. Something I've always wanted to do is 100% find what I would consider a barn find. And what a barn find in my book would be is something, Charger, truck, whatever, it's been stored away for years, that I found just by happenstance, circumstance, luck of the draw, you name it. Some situation that landed me on X property happened to open up Y door and there's the rig. That would be nice to ever find one of those. I've found what a lot of people would consider barn finds and field finds, but I've technically known about them through rumors over the years, and I've actually went and pursued them. But at the end of the day, it's kind of nice just to hear the story rather than try to make that story your own and just leave the car be. But I went ahead and made what I would consider my own barn find. If anybody ever rolled up on this, bought this container several years ago from container haulers, and I bought this thing purely to store the cars. So let's go ahead and open it up. You guys have already seen these rigs, but I think it's just cool that they're in here like this. You guys got, there's people like Dennis Collins, Mopar's 5150, those guys discover this stuff all the time with, you know, people leading them to them. Actually, the Charger, Mopar's actually found it several years ago, passed down through different owners, and I owned it up with it. So my Challenger, up until recently, I had this thing registered, tagged, and insured and all that mess. Still insured, but I just took it off the road because I got something going on with the steering. I've tried to align it several times. I'll have a video coming on that. Maybe one of you guys will have some pointers for me on that. But it just, every time we aligned it, drove it for a little bit, the tire started squealing, it went out of alignment. Not sure what's loose. We checked it and we aligned it 3-4 times on an actual rack. But we'll get the Challenger out of the way and get the Charger out. This is, these old rigs, they've been parked in here for a while. So let's get the battery. Oh, hopefully that wasn't hooked up. Oh, never mind. We completely DC'd it. I got these little battery cutoff switches from Hobo Freight. I got one on the crew cab. You guys saw me tighten on that this morning. Seems to work pretty good. Big boy rumbling. Come on, babe. Come on. Come on. Well, that was a win. Big boy started. Straight up cold started. It almost started better than the Cummins did. Let's walk in here and see what the Charger looks like hidden in there. I would consider this my self-made barn find setup through here. I don't know why the Charger is freaking racked, but the last owner that had all the body work done, he went ahead and skipped a couple steps and started putting stuff on it that we're gonna have to take back off. So, well, Jerry, we'll have to dethrone some of this stuff. Got to take the bumpers off, the fuel lid right there, and just X, Y, and Z, and maybe we'll get away with leaving some of the window stuff in there because it's all painted in the jams. That's why people are like, why are you gonna paint it black? Well, for starters, if I ever got a 70 Charger, you got to completely go through with the black paint job. Oh yeah, you guys are gonna be right down Main Street for this fire up. I got a steering wheel on it from eBay, and my hand hits this, so I couldn't really turn to get out of there because I kept breaking my hand off on that. And then the car didn't want to restart. Then the battery came disconnected. I got in and out 15 times, and it would fire up and die. It was the ignition. One of the wires down there, a little loose. So I wiggled that around and it stayed running. That's not what you want, but that's what we had. The view out of this thing is significantly nicer than the Challenger. Not trying to be biased. 168 degree engine temp. Hit 30 degrees this morning. We got something going on. Cooling system not adequate. Something pissing. What is that noise? Oh, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Crankcase vent. I need to reroute that into doing something useful. I'd say the thermostat's retarded because, well, maybe it's just about to open, I guess, because the rad is still completely cold. So let's do one walk around on this, and we're going to go straight to figuring out what we're going to do. The biggest holdup, I think, that's got me at a pause, it's not that I got to take the marker lights and all that stuff back out, and the ones on the hood and the bumper and stuff like I talked about earlier. I think this could actually just get masked off because that's already been painted. It should probably be redone, to be honest with you, because I can see a run right there. Or that's something underneath that we're going to have to discover. Old car stuff, you know what I mean? Somebody's done the old trick here, just geeking her. So this is what's got me at a pause right here, is when they put the new quarters on it, they put the wrong year on it. So they put I don't even remember which year it was, but they cut out the corner marker and then they put in the correct one. But it's just in there overlapped. You would have to fill this whole thing with mud trying to make that thing, you know, hide. So I don't know what I'm going to do to get that off, because that is JB Weld. Not looking forward to that at all. I don't know if you can, that's on the inside. Yeah, that's inside the trunk. Get to that thing. Honestly, it'd be best just to cut it out where it sits and then grind that stuff off on the bench. That might be what I have to do. Not ideal. Anybody says I'm not getting anything done in this video, I've microwaved my coffee twice so far, trying to do other stuff and forgot my drink. By the way, well, it's still slightly warm. Popped out the tail lights. Popped out that corner marker over there. But the housing is, man, they put a lot of JB Weld on that. I don't know. And then I broke my die grinder the other day. Got in a fight with it. Because this Milwaukee die grinder, that little guy, does it not work that good under pressure? Like if you put a little bit on it, it like wants to shut off. Mine shut off for the last time, I'll tell you that much. But looking here, oh, that looks beautiful. Okay, so that doesn't tie into that down there. There is a nut down in there. Let's get that out while we're thinking about it. Somebody dropped a nut down inside the quarter panel. Okay, beautiful. This one over here. Oh, I see. Whoever put the trunk thing in didn't quite go. I don't know. I don't know if that really matters or not. I've never put a trunk thing in before, but ooh, this one goes all the way to the edge. What else can we take off while we're thinking about it? Pop the bumper off. Backup lights. Let's do that. Coffee's already cold. scared me. I thought whatever they painted the rear bumper with looks like crap, but it's just condensation sitting on it. Let me get this off. Release the brake. There we go. So these will go in here. Pop the bumper off next. Funny, because I got probably half a dozen videos with this charger, messing around with it, putting exhaust on it and stuff like that, and they weren't good enough to post. And I thought I would be back working on it sooner than I was. So let's pop this off. Looks like we need 3/4 socket. This feels good actually tearing into it though, I'll tell you. Oh, that worked. You guys followed the V-Belt and Son channel with Grandma's truck. Every bolt I took off of that thing, I ran through the wire wheel and cleaned up all the rust on it. I don't necessarily know if that was worth it, but it made reassembly a lot nicer. It took a lot more time. But the only reason I say that is because these bolts they're holding the bumper on are rusty. Set. Woo! Oh, there's why that one was falling off. It's a retainer was not involved anymore. Let's go ahead and put that hardware back on because this bumper is in excellent shape. That retainer just fell off. Okay. They did paint the bumper brackets before they threw that on there. And I don't think I'm going to use this trim piece. Did buy a parts car, project car, whatever you want to call it, another charger from my buddy. I ended up selling it back to him for that dump truck and a Hemi for this. But one of the perks of buying that rig from him is I got a whole bunch of trim pieces that I thought were for this car. So did he, but there wasn't too much I could use, so now I just have this trim collection, which is a whole bunch of stuff. Not really too useful for much, but I got it. If I want to build like a chicken fence or something like that, or if somebody that knew hardware could come through and tear into it. Okay, I don't think I'm going to put the bumper in the trunk, but I lost the nut for that one. Where'd it go? That's got a clean shop floor and the nut. Oh, it's a washer. Okay, we need one more nut though. How do we do that? How would lose it? Aha! Okay. As it stands right now, there's a million things you need to do to the car. Paint job is number one prioritized. But before you can do that, you got to do body work. Even though the body work has essentially been done, that one thing over there, the corner marker being messed up, is really threw a wrench in the system. If they would have just left it, gave me the piece to fix it, that would have been fine. But now we got to undo some stuff, and that's what really sucks. And when I say really, I mean really sucks. It's trying to separate some adhesive bonding between two panels, not ideal. And we need to get something plugged up. That honestly should come out. but I can't get it out because it goes all the way to the tank, and I have to go underneath the car to do that. See what it takes to get these off. Oh, you know what? I think that nut that I found in the fender was one of the keepers for this. Yeah. I would put like $1 on that, judging by what it feels like underneath there. Not coming off very easily by hand, even though it's loose. Okay, we're gonna have to get power to it. Of course, my 10 is missing. Maybe it's 3/8. Hopefully it's a 3/8, being it's American ride. Probably a 7/16. It is. Oh. Yep, 7/16. The hardest part about doing a rig like this is patience to not jump ahead. I don't know what size this is, honestly. 3, it probably is a 10. How would it be a 10? But the patience not to just go ahead and put pieces on like this, because it just ultimately slows you down in the end. And like this quarter, whoever put it on, it, well, not very good. At least maybe this piece is, okay, we got to go. Holy jeez. Go to the big toolbox. Whew. Okay, that is not doing what I want. See, there's that. I see what the problem is. They're all different sizes. But good news is I can get it in there again. Oh, yep, no, that's definitely where that piece went. Came from. Now this thing's cast. Yeah, see it's welded back right here. And that does not match worth a crap. You'd have to stretch the whole thing to get that to work. Jeez, that's not a good sign. Maybe we can manipulate this thing, just sand her down just a little bit. But it's just these studs. And that one fell down there. I'll get the other side off. See, it's all painted black underneath there. That don't really matter for this because it's easy to get back to. This side is really good. Wonder. Oh, hang on. Okay, so a couple of ways to skin a fish here. This might be bent. I don't know, honestly. it could be tweaked. But that's okay. We probably snip that, roll it in a little bit to get it to match. Or that thing could be flexed, which is it's cast, so it kind of sucks. But that major overhang, that quarter wasn't put on right. And I'm not saying like I've done quarters, but I've watched videos of guys installing quarters, and that's one thing they talk about. Same thing with this corner piece. They'll just take it, that's not supposed to be mudded over, that's several pieces. So they'll take and mud over it, and then just put a line so that it looks like it's two pieces. It ain't the case, folks. It ain't the case. So, what else we got on the back here to take off? That's pretty good. Now that we can get into the trunk without having to monkey with the screwdriver setup. Door handles, some stuff up front. Let's go up front and just assess the situation. Something that I find really crazy is, well, we're not in France now, so it's cold in the mornings here, but then the sun comes out and you get, comfortable again. But the 3 years that these second generation Chargers were manufactured, you make 300,000 of these cars, which seems like a huge number, but for automotive manufacturing, that's very, very small amount of cars. But if you still take into consideration how fast, let's just say any company that made 100,000 cars in 1 year back then, which is not a lot, that was a lot of cars. Because us auto people nowadays, it's going to take us several years to restore one of these rigs, and it took them less than, realistically, with the full manufacturing facility, a couple hours really to build this damn car once everything's set up right there. And how expensive they are nowadays. You can't even buy anything really for them without going over your budget. When I first got this thing, I'd spend a couple bucks, once a month, buy a couple things and eat it. So I got quite a bit of stuff already in inventory for it, so she's ready to go. But this is another area, don't get ahead of yourself, because you don't need to put these on, because it's just going to get in the way of the guy that needs to paint this rig. I mean, it's nice to make those steps, but it's pointless. So all this has been painted underneath here. It's all black underneath the hood and everything. Fender tag's still there. I went through and put new hardware holding the fenders on, stainless steel, Allen key units, and we should be good. I got disc brake conversion on the front of this, so all this will get masked off. It's not a big deal at all. Even underneath the hood, that flat black rattle unit. Those. So we're going to get a little baggie for these. And I think I got a container, I guess. We're going to move on to a little bit of light sanding. Judging by the texture of the prime that's on the car, I didn't prime this car. I bought this car 4 or 5 years ago. It looked exactly like this, minus all the dust. But the splattered texture feeling that I'm seeing on the primer leads me to believe that it's high build. High build's a nice primer to overcome slight imperfections. It's not going to take the biggest things out, but it'll overcome quite a bit. And it's not really that big a deal to do. It's not going to hurt the value. It's not going to hurt anybody's ego by having high build primer on there, because you can put it on decently thick, way thicker than regular primer would be, and then you got the luxury of being able to sand it out. So if you don't have your settings right on the gun, or if you got your mixture wrong prior to the primer going in the gun, if you don't put enough reducer, it's going to come out like drywall splatter. It's going to be textured, and that's what I can see right here. Ask me how I know. I made that major mistake. Put the reducer in your high build primer, or else you're going to be sanding on that Betsy for a long damn time. But I don't know how many layers or coats of high build are on here, so we're going to take it easy. I'm going to just, at this point, I would say it just needs to be blocked all out. I have 1/2 sheet of 220 left. We're going to break into it since it's got the texture, and we're going to see what we're going to be exposing. Don't go over your line right there. I got some new stuff from Eastwood. I don't remember what grit it is, but it's for doing Bondo. It hooks up a vacuum cleaner to your mini long block. But this is going out pretty nice. There's a major high spot right there. Getting more intense with this, we're going to get a match. For the most part, I'm liking what I'm seeing. It's going to be a minute before we break through all this. Got that major scratch right there. That's going to have to be filled with something. That's another ingredient to doing this, is not to jump ahead because this spot isn't getting done fast enough. The initial grind feels like you're getting something done, and then it takes a minute. So you're going to have to stay there. Don't burn through it though. If you're getting frustrated, move to another easier spot and then come back to a trickier one. This one's pretty much easier to get. Yeah, you guys see all those dark spots? That means it's a low spot, which I've only sanded on it for 2 minutes, which that stuff might come out. But if it doesn't, like this big old scratch right here, that thing got bumped with a set of keys on your hip or something. Run right there. It takes a lot to get high build to run. Let me tell you, you could throw that stuff on thick and it won't want to run. But looks like there's more run right there. We got to work through all that. But just a quick shot in the dark, 2 minute splatter at it with the sanding. I feel like this thing is going to need another coat of primer. Because there's you can see the difference. This was a different day, different prime than that. Well, I'm going to sand on this, see where we get. Well, it might not have looked like we did a lot of doing a lotting, but we did actually do a lot of lit and lotting. Anyway, the car's in the shop. I did sand on it for about an hour or so, here and there on the quarter panel on that side. Did actually find I had some more sandpaper in my storage locker over there. So that was a good win. I didn't have to go to the store and search any more of that. But I'm trying to pace myself with this, not get burned out on it. I'll just sand a little bit and do something else. So as for today, it was actually quite a bit of effort to get the car out of the container, get it down in the shop. Tear down wasn't too bad, but pretty much I had to take everything off the car, undo a lot of stuff. But it's out here in the shop for the 100th time, and we're actually going to start working on it. It's in the get worked on slot in between the 2 orange posts for the lift. So hopefully we can make progress on this. It's going to be raining tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday. I'll spend those days in the shop, and this car will be on the list of